afternoon, everybody. We've got Faf du Plessis at the top table. Just to begin with, can we start talking about Test cricket before we get to anything else? And we just would like to concentrate on that for now. And we'll have an opportunity to speak in depth about ODI cricket at the end of the match. I'd like to go first. Ken and then Stuart.
Faf, you forced to make one change to the team for tomorrow with KG out, but are there any other changes you guys are contemplating?
I can tell you that Temba is back in the side, and the rest we are still waiting to see what the weather does tomorrow. Not 100% clarity in that yet, but that's the one thing that is definite.
So is Temba replacing KG?
No, it's Zubi. Hamza. Yeah.
It's been a short turnaround since PE, which wasn't a good performance. Without KG, your best bowler, how do you sort of uplift the self-belief and the spirit in the club in such a short period?
Yeah, fair enough. No, I think, look, when you deep in a series already, the extra time in the nets, it's not going to make that much difference. The challenge for us as a team is how strong we are mentally in this last hurdle of the Test match. We know where we've been a little bit poor in our game plans. We haven't scored enough first innings runs. That's the basic of Test cricket. If you look at England as a blueprint, constructed putting it up the first innings, the top three batting towards their own pace, and making sure that they set the innings up for the rest of the guys to come in and play and put a first innings score on the board, and then also have scoreboard pressure. That doesn't change in whatever conditions you play in the world. You need to make sure you do that. So that's something we have spoken about, and the work that we've put in the batting unit has been mostly on making sure that we are stronger in rebuilding partnerships, setting up your innings, that first 30, 40 balls, and then after that making decisions on your game plan. What is the right options on the specific wicket? So those have been the talking points. But as you say, there's not enough time to change techniques and stuff like that, and after a quick turnaround. The secret weapon lies in how strong you can be emotionally and mentally to overturn what was average performance in PE, and we've spoken quite a bit about that.
Tennis, Proteas and England.
Just on selection, who will bat at number 3, and also someone like Vernon, what might he add to the team if he's in the conversation?
Rassie will go down to 3. That's what we've decided. And then, if Bjorn becomes a selection opportunity, obviously it is a place that he plays his cricket at now, so he knows the conditions. But that's the discussion that needs to take place. Do we feel like we need to strengthen our seam bowling a little bit because of the loss of KG? Do we need all-rounder, stuff like that? That is, for now, purely on the weather, because there is quite a bit of rain around apparently tomorrow, but who knows? So we'll make that decision in the morning.
I suppose one of the things that will be contributing to the media camp is that will be Vernon's last Test. How's he feeling before saying goodbye, and what would you like to say about his contribution?
Vernie's obviously, we've spoken a lot about it in this Test series because he did announce it at the beginning of the series. So the message for us is just, you would like to see Vernon leave this game in the way that Vernon deserves it. Vernon's last bowling performance here at the Wanderers has been unbelievable. His record speaks for itself. In my perfect world, I want to see him get the storybook ending that he deserves. He's been such a great bowler for this Test team, and obviously the previous wicket didn't assist him that much because it was a bit slow. Hopefully here is a ground where he's done very well, and sign off on a high, as he deserves. He deserves that respect. He's been one of the most skillful bowlers the Proteas side has ever seen.
How long you still want to continue playing is a different question, but maybe you can answer it in this one. Do you think this group, looking at these boys, Quinton, your Caprisos and all those who have been, slowly but surely joining the team now, Vernon, another exit. Do you think they're ready, and how do you see that as a captain? The captaincy also shifting in the other formats. How do you see that? How do you measure that? And also, do you feel as though, any time step back?
I'd like to, for my own personal reasons, have my focus specifically on this test match. I know there's been a lot spoken about all the other things and a lot of too much noise away from the test cricket and the test team. So, yeah, I'd like to, if it's okay with you, just stay on this test match and just speak on behalf of what is in front of us. Obviously, losing KG is a big thing. But yeah, it's time for the new generation of cricketers to come through, and it's slowly but surely you've seen guys exiting, and Vernon is now the next guy who does that. And yeah, it's new opportunities for new bowlers. As we said, with guys like Hashim Amla stepping out of this space, creates an opportunity for number 3 that needs to make it the number 3 spot his for the future. So Vernon is that good that he will take some time to replace, but I know there's a lot of talent in this pool of South African cricket that someone will come through.
Telford Daniel Dean.
What's Vernon like from a captain's perspective? Captain him and say here's the ball from that point of view, and are you able to say whether this will also be yours?
Okay, so Vernon, yeah, great to know as a captain that you can give the ball to someone with control. Test cricket is all about control, run rate, putting guys under pressure through either spells where you feel like you can get a lot of wickets. With Vernon, sometimes that is the case. When the ball is moving around, it does feel like he can get a guy out any stage. But also the control factor. If a wicket is a little bit slower, then I know I'm going to get control from him, and that's a massive asset in Test cricket. You don't want to be throwing the ball to someone and you hope that that he keeps the run rate under 4.5. It just releases a lot of pressure. So I know that with Vernon, he gives me that. It's a banker, most certainly always. Obviously, later in his career, it's been about managing his workload. But this is a 4 Test match series. Didn't bowl as much in the previous game as a bowler like Vernon can probably bowl more. But had the foresight, understanding that we will need him here in Wanderers to keep him fresh, to keep his tank, so that he can, if necessary, push himself a little bit more, which he will want to do because it is his last. And then just my question again.
Is this also your last match?
So as I said, yeah, for now this is about this test match for me. I have not changed that communication to you guys at one instance. I've said the same thing the whole time. So the question keeps coming up. For me, I have still committed to when I said I'm committed to play for South Africa. So that hasn't changed. So it's normal business as it is usual for me.
Daniel.
Yesterday, Quinton said that the batting unit was playing well and that you guys are full of confidence. Do you share that sentiment?
I think you get two confidences. You get prepping well in the nets, doing the right things, feeling good in the nets, walking out of a net feeling confident. So there's definitely an aspect of that. The guys, as I said, we have trained well, we've trained smart, and we're learning. When I say we're speaking of a batting lineup that is extremely young, and with that you throw in one or two of us as a senior player group hasn't scored the runs that we should. Now all of a sudden, as I said, what happens normally in a test batting lineup, you've got your 3 or 4 bankers that consistently just pumps out runs all the time, and then a young guy can come into the team and almost float under the radar a little bit and get to find his feet in test cricket. Unfortunately, as a batting lineup, we haven't scored a lot of runs, and a lot of us are guilty of that. So the confidence in scoring runs in the matches is what we need. We need to make sure that we put hundreds on the board. As I said, England has been a good example for us in how certain batters go about it their own way. There's not just one way. Very, very different hundreds from then that's been scored. Someone like Sibley, who you feel technically doesn't have a 180 game plan, but he's quite patient within that game plan, and then there's learning for us in that. And then someone like Stokes coming in and playing his own game is because he's been able to have the platform to walk in and play freely. So we have got guys like that in Quentin de Kock. It's just about getting a solid base for them to come in and play.
Two questions at the front, and then Sonny.
Faf, all the momentum in this series now is with England, 2 wins on the trot. You've got at least two changes that you've made. Perhaps arguably your best fast bowler is not going to be playing here. Maybe issues on and off the field. I mean, what is it that tells you that you can actually turn things around? What areas do you think you can get on top of England?
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair to say. I mean, England since Centurion has played the better cricket, and now for us, as I said, it's real. It's the only thing that we can really now make sure that we do a lot better is we have to fight for absolutely every single inch on that field. We've spoken about how we can do that, but I believe that in situations like this, if you are mentally a little bit off it, teams that are on top of you, because I've experienced it, you know, they just keep running with that momentum. So for us, it's important how we start this next test match. If you can have a solid start where you feel the confidence flowing through the dressing room, batting first, you know, starting a good partnership that runs in the first innings, as I said, or whether you bowl first, getting a couple of wickets and getting stuck into their middle order quickly, which is what we would like to see, you know, those guys with a new ball. If you do that, then you're back in it, but you need to make it's not going to come to you. It's definitely not just England is not going to say, here you go guys, here's 5-6 wickets in this first session, let's start playing now. So we know that we are going to fight very, very, very hard to try and get ourselves into a position where we can win a test match again.
Last 3 questions.
Faf, if you do win this, you draw the series and that gets you more points for the Test Championship. It's still relatively new, the Test Championship. Do players think in those terms yet about the points? And if not, how long do you think it will be before players do think in those terms?
Yeah, I think we're not quite there yet on thinking of it like that. But we speak of it obviously. But you've played the Test game at a certain way for so long that you have to remind people like this, and you're still playing. It's a big picture here, and I suppose that falls in line with the message that we've been talking about as a Test team, that it's not going to happen overnight for us. It's going to take time. So our aim right now was never to become number world overnight. It was about a sustained year or 2 year or even 3 year process of getting that plan in place. You know, I think you can take a great example from the England one-day side. You know, it took them 4 years to get to a position where they were consistently in a position to win. But it just didn't happen in a year. It took some time. So that's the vision that we have right now, and the vision that I've been part of is to try and create and set that platform and start doing the right things right now to make sure that in 2 or 3 years' time, this Test team will be number 1 in the world again.
Sonny, and then we'll finish with Ken.
Before my question, just give me a few questions in Afrikaans as well.
Sorry, there's no time.
Faf, you spoke about not scoring enough first innings runs. You had Stian, you had Stephen Cook, you now have Aiden, and I suppose Peter Malan. Just how much of a factor is the fact that your opening partnership's been changed since the last time that England were there?
I mean, I think it's not ideal. You know, Dean jokes about it, that he's had so many opening partners, but he's right. You know, you do build a relationship as an opening pair, and the great teams have had that. They've had great opening partnerships, batting together for a long period of time, getting to understand each other's games. They score in different ways. So that is something that's been not ideal for us, but it's also been out of our control. You know, Aiden has been injured a few times now. It looked like a year ago or so, a year and a half ago or 2 years ago, when Aiden came on the scene, that was the partnership that was going to evolve into the opening partnership that the Test team needed for a while. And now it's Peter's opportunity. You know, he came in and played well. So once again, it's in his hands. If he does well, you know, it will be difficult to leave him out of the side. But it is a new partnership for Dean. Partnerships, like anything, like any relationships, does take time. But it doesn't. We can't use that as an excuse why we're not scoring runs. In an ideal world, I just think you would like that to have that over a certain period of time.
Ken?
Faf, you mentioned fight quite a lot just now. Cape Town, the fight was obvious. PE, it didn't seem like there was much fight there, especially with the batting. Has there been a discussion about why the guys felt they weren't able to put in the fight, you know, in PE, and how do you rectify that for the one?
Oh, it's a fair question. I think you get a combination of, when we speak about fight, you can also get let down by your skill. And then your skill looks like you didn't fight, but you either let down in your skill levels or you let down in a mental collapse or a mental error that you make. And then it looks like you're not a fighting team, but it actually was just bad decision making. So for us, yes, there needs to be fight, and we showed that in Newlands, but there was good decision making there. There was good game plans. The guys batted with clarity. And if you take the test match in PE, we almost a little bit confused as a batting love how to bat. You know, a lot of talk on how to play the spin positively, then play the spin negatively. You know, block the test match out, show fight like that. Every guy has his own blueprint of scoring runs, and it's about really being authentic in your style of batting. What has made you successful in the past, and just trusting that. I mean, I think someone asked it after the previous game. Is it dangerous to listen to all the outside influence technically? And it's a big danger. You know, there's, as a young batter, when great players talk about how you should bat, I think guys listen because they want to try and improve. But there's also enough information in our dressing room to trust the coaches, to trust the senior players, to speak to them, and like I said, most importantly is trust what has got you to the level where you are now, being successful and not feeling like you have to change your game to be successful at this level.
Faf, can I ask you about Ollie Hope, the way he played, the innings that he played, but also the way that T20 cricket is bringing this new influence, exciting influence, dimension, if you like, to the way young people are playing Test cricket?
Yeah, he's been very good. I think he's that freshness. You know, he's a young guy that comes into the team that, like I said, that you normally hope for, that your more experienced batters perform really well, and you got this young guy coming in and just playing his way, and that is what our Test or T20 cricket has changed the game. Like you're saying, you got this young breed of cricketers coming through. He's got a bit of flair to his game, but he also knows his game really well, you know, and I think that's important about Test cricket. He's got a good defence. So with time, people will now start analysing his technique, because for all of us it's new. You know, that generally happens a lot in Test cricket. You get guys coming in, we call it first year syndrome, and you don't know the players, so they're successful. So his challenges, like any other young player, would be year 2, year 3. But certainly from what we've seen, technically he's very sound, and he's got different gears that he goes through. So he's been a real thorn in trying to get him out.
Thanks very much.
Good luck for the toss tomorrow.
Thank you.